Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order took all of us by surprise. As the first single-player Star Wars game to be released since EA took over the Star Wars gaming license, there was a lot riding on this game's shoulders. Despite the pressure, and despite a lot of player skepticism, the new game from Respawn Entertainment delivered on every level. An incredible, full-length original story set in the Star Wars universe, a satisfying lightsaber combat system, no loot boxes or microtransactions, and a healthy level of exploration, all of which makes for a very immersive experience in a galaxy far, far away. Funny enough, the game does not open with that text. Fallen Order seems to be a huge success, and player reception has been overwhelmingly positive. With all that said, it isn't perfect. As a story-driven single-player game, it suffers from the fact that once you beat it, that's it. You finish the story, and then all that's left to do after that is 100% complete the game by finding all the collectibles and treasures on the different planets. Once you do that, all you can do is replay the story. Maybe at a higher difficulty level, which can make it interesting, but it's still the same thing all over again. In today's video, we're talking about 5 things that can give players more to do in Fallen Order once we complete the story, and just make the game more timeless in general. I take no credit for these ideas. These are just big ones that have been floating around the gaming community that I think would be solid inclusions. With all of that out of the way, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's check it out. In this age of technology, games are looking better and better every year. As developers apply more photorealistic and enhanced graphics, and as game engines upgrade and are able to support those better graphics, some games can look almost as good as a movie, if not better. With visuals this nice, a lot of games now call for a photo mode, and Jedi Fallen Order is no different. This game is gorgeous, and it would be a shame to not be able to take advantage of these settings and interactions and snap a photo of your favorite moments. As a content creator, I know I would take full advantage of something like this to make thumbnails for my videos, but even the casual gamer can take pride in a really nice snapshot of a cool looking scene or an awesome fight they're having with a boss. I think in this time of gaming, a photo mode should be a default feature for any game that features realistic graphics, or if the visuals are a high selling point of the game. Stunning visuals have always been a part of the Star Wars experience, so Fallen Order is definitely deserving of a photo mode. Maybe it could be a bonus upgrade for BD1. New Game Plus is a feature some single-player games have. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically getting to replay the game once you beat it, but this time you start with all the upgrades and unlocks you found during your first playthrough. It's a way to use some skills or items that you acquire late in the game right from the very beginning. This would be a fun feature for Fallen Order, since a lot of the best stuff you get comes later in the game. Some might argue that it would make the game too easy, and that might be true, but you can always bump the difficulty up if you're breezing through it. This would give the story even more replay value, and give players a reason to want to play through it a second, third, maybe even fourth time. Fallen Order has some incredibly memorable boss fights. One-on-one duels with the Inquisitors and other bosses are true Star Wars moments, ones players should get to relive over and over again. As it is right now, you're only able to fight the bosses during the main storyline just one time, and after you defeat them, the only way you can fight them again is to restart the story. Not even the final boss is available a second time once the game is complete. An individual mode dedicated to boss fights would be a great way to allow players to replay their favorite boss fights and improve their skills. I keep referencing Kingdom Hearts gameplay in this video because the similarities between the games stick out to me. In Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, there's a section of a world where you get to replay particular boss fights, fighting the bosses as quote-unquote data versions. I could see an upgrade come to the holo table on the Mantis, where you can enter a data version of a boss fight you've had before and get to replay it as many times as you want. A mode like this would be a fan favorite and would keep players coming back for more. One thing players were pretty worried about before the release of Fallen Order was the length of the story. With Star Wars games in the past, like Force Unleashed having an infamously short storyline, there was concern about how long the story of Fallen Order would end up being. Fortunately, we were pleasantly surprised with a full-length story that clocks in at well over 12 hours of total playtime. It's possibly closer to 20 hours depending on how much exploration you do and how much of the game you want to complete while playing through it. That's a healthy single-player game. That is many hours of entertainment. But with a Star Wars story, particularly one this good, players will always want more. Additional DLC that expands the story of Cal and the Mantis crew is something I know many fans would want to see, since we know the time period this takes place in, and there are surely many more adventures they could all have. In much the same way Battlefront 2's campaign had an additional DLC storyline added after the game's release, Fallen Order could get the same treatment, with another chapter of Cal's journey as a Jedi Knight, maybe exploring a new planet. Or we could get a separate storyline where we get to play as Seer. Any expansion to the story would be great, and I know fans would greatly appreciate it. And finally, the last feature on this list that Fallen Order could benefit from is an online duel mode. Similarly to the data boss fights, the holotable could provide another arena-type mode where you can fight online with other Fallen Order players, and see who among your friends is truly the best lightsaber duelist. So far, the game is entirely single-player, with no online connection required to enjoy it. Having an online duel mode would provide a new twist to the game for players who enjoy online multiplayer. Sure, we have Battlefront 2 and its modes like Heroes vs. Villains and Showdown, where you can have lightsaber duels, but the mechanics just can't compare to Fallen Orders, which are specifically tailored for intense lightsaber combat. Online connections and the fact some people have faster connection speeds than others might be a problem for this idea, but if done well, it could be a feature. Once again, Kingdom Hearts had this very same type of mode in Birth by Sleep, so it's certainly possible. Fallen Order is great, easily my favorite piece of Star Wars content so far this year, but these are just 5 things that I think can make it even better and give it a long lifespan among players. What did you think? Do you have any other ideas for Fallen Order that can improve the game? Let me know in a comment below, and once again, be sure you're subscribed to the channel for more Star Wars gaming content. I appreciate you stopping by the bazaar. May the Force be with you. Peace.
What are you doing here?